Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. So I got another palette review for you. I know, I bought a lot of makeup lately. We got lots of palettes coming. I don't know what happened. It's the holidays. They're really getting to me, guys. So I have the KVD, what is this called? Edge of Reality eyeshadow palette. And it looks like this, obviously. Here's the box. The box looks exactly the same. Has the shadows on the back here. So this palette retails for $45 US and it looks like this. I'm pretty sure this is like their holiday palette. It doesn't say it's limited edition or anything, but this is a fully recyclable palette, you guys. This whole thing is totally recyclable. Okay, this is the reason why I bought this palette. I heard about this palette. I saw the color story. It's like, all right, the colors look pretty good. And then the recyclability of this is, you can totally, okay, so it's so cool, you guys. I don't even know how, words are hard. I was totally sold on this palette because of the fact that you can recycle it 100%. I really want the beauty community to move in a more eco-friendly way. Even though I buy a crap ton of makeup and definitely am a contributor to all the waste, like I am terrible at that. I'm not even saying I'm good at it at all, but when brands come out with things like these, I 100% want to support them because I know I consume a lot of makeup, so if they come out with more things like these, it would be so much better. I know it sounds really hypocritical, I understand that, but I also buy a lot of makeup to review for you guys. So anyways, I think the little plastic thing is like stuck up here, yeah. So it does come with a little plastic sheet. Whether or not this is like a biodegradable plastic, I'm not 100% sure. It just says that it's recyclable packaging, so I don't know if that plastic is actually biodegradable or anything. But these have 14 shadows in here. You have 6 mattes and 8 shimmers. There is no mirror in here because, if you guys don't know, mirrors, you can't really recycle it with paper. I mean, mirrors just make it really difficult to recycle a palette. You have to deconstruct the entire palette for it to even be recyclable. So just not putting in the mirror in there is the easiest thing to do when you're making a recyclable packaging. And let's be honest, do we really need another mirror? I'm sure you have at least 10 products that have mirrors in them, so you're not missing out on one. I feel like, personally, that's just how I feel. But anyway, so here's the front of the packaging. It's super pretty. It has like this raised design on it. It's really cute and like glam looking, but still a little edgy in a way, and I really like it with the gold. You have all the shade names on the back here, and I know I'm kind of all over the place here, but I'm just trying to show you guys every part of the palette. And then the last thing is, because the packaging is recyclable, the shadows, they have a little thing right here where you can pull this part. I'm not going to take it out because it's kind of glued down, but you can basically take this whole shadow part out and then toss the rest, the packaging in the recycling. So I just read on the website about the actual eyeshadow pan part. So you have to take out this part, and then you have to take the actual shadow itself out of the cardboard part that it's placed into. So these two parts come apart. This packaging recycled automatically, then the shadow part, you take the shadows out, and then you recycle the leftover part of where the shadows were in here. And I just stuck my nail in so hard to this black shade. So super cool that they were able to come out with a palette like this. I really hope that other brands are watching and, you know, get some ideas, because this is an idea that I would love for every brand to steal and copy and start doing, because it's so important. Okay, now I'm gonna do some swatches for you guys. Keep in mind that these are UMM swatches. Please watch till the end of this video, because UMM swatches are not what everything are about. These swatches look stunning. Whether or not they work on the eyes, we can talk about it later. All I'm gonna say right now is this is not the same eyeshadow formula that I remember from this brand a few years ago when I used to use them. Speaking of that, I haven't purchased from KVD, Kat D, whatever, this brand for years. I stopped purchasing them, you know, back when the whole Kat D thing came out. But because since Kat D is no longer a part of KVD Vegan Beauty, I have been keeping an eye out on the brand because I want to see what direction they go. I feel like they've been trying to keep up, and I think that they're doing a decent job. I haven't seen any products that really interest me that will make me want to pay full price for them, except for this palette. The only other product that I've seen that I've been really interested in is those eyeshadow dazzle shadow stick things, but they're a little bit expensive, so I didn't purchase any. But anyways, I am looking into KVD more because I think that they deserve a second chance. That's all I have to say. So here's the second chance. Ooh. You know, no matter what, after you guys watch this whole review, I'm still gonna keep an eye on the brand. I'm not gonna totally just say no to them quite yet. So we're gonna do an eyeshadow demonstration. I'm gonna show you guys using the shadows, and I'm also gonna give you guys my thoughts and opinions at the end of after I do the eyeshadow demonstration, and whether or not I would recommend this palette. So if you guys wanna watch that, that's at the end. But next we're going to be doing the demo of the actual shadow on my eyes. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, you guys, let's get some of these shadows on the eyes. I just primed my eyelids using the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Eden, as per usual. And I think I have a look in mind that I want to do. It was really hard to choose. Like, there's so many colors in here I want to try. But first I'm going to go into this peachy shade right here as my transition shade. These are pretty softly pressed, so when you put your brush in here, you do get quite a bit of like kick up. I feel like it's going to be like that like with all of them, but we shall see. Okay, next up I'm going to use this shade right here. All the shade names are in the back, but it's just easier to just point and say that one. I'm going to go back into the first peachy shade, and I'm just going to kind of pull it up higher. I always feel like I don't go high enough the first time. Okay, I'm gonna use a little bit of a smaller brush, and I'm gonna go into the deepest shade in the palette, the deepest matte shade in the palette, which is this brown shade. So far with the matte shades, what I'll say is that they blend so well, almost too well, that I feel like I have to really build them up like a lot to get it to the place there I want it. Like, they're pigmented, but also not as pigmented as what you'd think they would be when you place them on your eye. Like, they blend out almost too well, which for some people could be good because it is a pretty, I would say that's pretty beginner friendly. Like, it's easy to use it and not get too carried away, especially with that deep brown shade. So like, they do blend really well together, but I do feel like if you blend too much, they get lost. So let's move on to the shimmers, because these are like the bulk of the palettes, and I'm really excited to try them out. I want to use this shade right here first. Let's see how it does with a brush. Darker than what it looks like in the pan. It has like a dark base to it. I don't know how I feel about it on the eyes. Works with a brush, but obviously I always like a finger better. That's just, I feel like a finger always works better. But you can use it with a brush, and that's what matters. Okay, now I want to try this shade, which is super interesting. It's got a very strong duochrome to it. You guys see it's like kind of pinky to a green. Very interesting, and so I want to use this. It's really weird because these are really pretty colors, but I just don't know how I feel about them on the eye. These are really weird feelings I'm having, okay? Maybe I'm just not doing the right color combination because these don't really look like they go together at all. I don't know what I'm doing at this point, but I'm gonna use this shade because I just want, I don't know, I just want some warmth in there. I'm just gonna put it on top of that other one. I am struggling with this one, you guys. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know if it's because I'm choosing the wrong color combinations, or that's probably the case actually. Am I gonna start over? Hi, so if anything looks different, it's because I just took off my makeup and redid those first 3 matte shadows that we just did. And I just didn't like the color combination I was choosing. I think it was me. I think. We will see. But I use the exact same matte shadows, so everything's the same. So next I'm going to go into this purple shade here. I think I'm gonna put this all over the lid for the most part. I'm gonna do a little blending action. It's this shade here. I'm just dabbing a little bit more purple on top a little bit because I feel like it blended some of it away. Okay, now I'm gonna go in with this shade here. And I think I'm gonna put this on the center of my lid just to bring a little bit of attention to the center. And then I'm gonna take this shade here. I'm gonna put it on the very inner corner here. And then lastly, I'm gonna use this very light shimmer shade, and I'm gonna put these, oh my gosh. These kind of like, when you dig a brush in it, they kind of get a little chunky, like in a way, like they kind of pull up a lot of the shadow because they're so softly pressed. I'm just gonna put this on the very, very inner part of my corner, basically on my nose. My tear duct is a tear duct. This thing right here that I'm gonna have to retouch up after I do my foundation. It's a really pretty shade. I don't know how I feel about this. Let me finish up the rest of my makeup and let me come back and tell you what you guys tell you guys what I think. Winged liner makes everything better, right? Alrighty, you guys, so I am back, and you know, I don't hate the look overall. Now I have like lashes and liner on, but is it because I have lashes and liner on? You know, like, is it the shadows or is it the lashes and liner? So let me give you guys a little bit of close up here. Here's what my shadow is looking like with everything done. I have some thoughts. I have some very sad thoughts, because honestly, I wanted to like this palette so bad because of the concept of the palette being fully recyclable, and because this is like me giving, you know, KVD a second chance since I stopped really purchasing from them for like the longest time. I thought this looked cute, you know, the shadows look nice, but if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I'm not a fan of this palette. Like, I really don't like this palette. I really don't want to say that. And it hurts because I just love makeup so much, and I hate when I spend money on something that I don't like. But anyways, I'm not a big fan of this at all. The shimmers in here are the best part of the palette, and even then, not all of them are great. Like, I really didn't like this one that much. It's one that I used the very first time and it didn't work out. This purple one on my lid, yeah, it's there, but it's very lackluster to me. I mean, all of these shimmers, basically all of these shimmers, they work, they show up, they're good, but that's it. There's nothing special about them. They're very basic shimmer shadows. Like, what you see is what you get on the lid pretty much, except for this like one duochrome shade. I mean, it is a duochrome shade, so it does have that shift to it, but all the other ones are pretty basic shimmer shades in my opinion. And the mattes in here, oh my gosh, they're not good, you guys. The mattes are not good in this palette. They really are not. They really just aren't pigmented enough, and they blend so good. They blend way too well, so they all blend together. There's too much, I don't know if it's because they're really powdery in a way where they just kind of move around too much, but there's no, the pigment's just not there for me at all. None of them really. I just feel like they all start blending into kind of the same shade, and you really have to build them up. I had to go in so many times to get the pigment on my eyes, and even afterwards, as I was doing the rest of my makeup, I went in multiple times to touch it up because I felt like it was fading. I don't know, just from sitting here. So I'm extremely disappointed with this palette. I just love what they're doing and stepping up and trying to do something with this packaging. It's so important. At least the good thing is that I don't have to feel so bad about this going to waste because it's recyclable. This palette's really confusing too because like when you swatch it, they swatch amazing, but they do not perform well on the eyes. And that is a huge reason why you have to try shadows on your eyes. You can't just go off of swatches because the swatches are really good on these. they just don't work great on the eyes. That's really all I have to say about this. I'm just not a fan. I'm a fan of the packaging. I think it's amazing and incredible and very beautiful that they made this and they were able to make it come to life. And I don't know if it's because the shadows had to be formulated a certain way to be able to put them into this cardboard kind of packaging, because the pans aren't in any kind of metal, so there may have to be some kind of special formula they had to make so that it doesn't like seep into the cardboard. I'm not really sure, but they're not there yet. Like when I'm thinking of the old Kat Von D palettes, like the Shade and Light Eye palettes, and I had a ton of her other eyeshadow palettes back in the day, like years ago, and they all were so good. Like the shadow quality is good, but these are not the same. These are not the same quality. I really don't think they are. So it's possible that the formula, like I said, maybe they had to make it a certain way to be able to put it into this recyclable palette. I don't know, but I hope that they keep working on it because I love the concept of the recyclability of this palette. That's what sold me on this palette, to be honest. I mean, I did think it was pretty. Like, I thought this was actually kind of pretty holiday palette, but the recyclability of it was so important to me, and I think that that is the biggest reason why I purchased this, to share that with you guys. I just want you guys to try and be a little bit more aware of purchasing things. And I know that sounds super hypocritical because I buy everything out there, like I really do. I'm definitely not great about this, but when I see things like this, I do want to try and shed light on that. Also, I just buy a ridiculous amount of makeup so I can review it for you guys. If I was like not on YouTube, I definitely wouldn't be purchasing all of the makeup, but I also want to shed the light on these kinds of things when makeup brands are really trying to be innovative and make things more eco-friendly and sustainable. So, not a big fan of the actual shadow. Love the packaging. But overall, what matters is the shadow. So I'm gonna have to say this is a big old fat pass for me, like a big one. I haven't had an eyeshadow palette that I didn't really enjoy for a very long time because the game in the makeup world these days is so good. And I think that's another reason why I'm disappointed in these, is because it's not a terrible, terrible palette, but the eyeshadows these days are so good that they are up against a lot, you know, like there's so much competition now, so they're not as great quality as what you can get on the market now. That's all I have to say, you guys. This is a sad ending. I hate giving bad reviews, but I hope you guys found this helpful. If you are looking into this palette, definitely check out multiple reviews because maybe it's my eyes, who knows, you know, shadows work out different for everyone. So definitely check out other reviews, not just mine. Don't rely on just one person's review. That's it. That's the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Subscribe if you're not already. I almost missed that part in there. Okay, bye.